Okay. Everybody was already downloaded the notes, eh? So okay, this is the ideal big picture. Eh? Basically, you are all right now in the university. Okay, not physically in the university. You are in the university stage, tertiary education. So how does university actually contribute to the industry, right? So from this figure, I hope you can understand this. I think it's quite straightforward, eh? But let's start with the figure at the top, eh? Correct. Basically, one of the university main business is teaching. Okay, so in the teaching process, okay, we are providing, let's say, diploma and bachelor degree, and then we have master and also doctorate degree and PhD. And while focusing this for your stage, okay, for bachelor degree, okay, the first degree, we are actually incorporating academic program as well as industrial training. Okay, of course, in this special situation, COVID-19 situation, maybe you are going to have different version of academic program in industrial training. Okay, you are going to have virtual class, you are going to have virtual experiment, okay, ataupun practical amali. And but hopefully you are going to have an actual industrial training. Right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry. So in industrial training, basically you are going to first being exposed to the knowledge. Okay, dalam academic program lah, you are going to have lectures, and then you are going to have hands-on dalam your practical, and then you are going to apply it in industrial training. Okay, and then this is basically how we try to develop student to make sure that the student is ready for the industry. Okay, through teaching. But of course, at the same time, through teaching, we can have a relationship with publication. Okay, this is the first route from teaching. Secondly, university is also focusing on the research and commercialization. Okay, we try to say that this is research and development first. Okay, and then from the research and development, okay, most of the time the research is being conducted because we have this the need to do this research. Okay, for example, when we have a certain issue regarding pollution, okay, let's say Sungai Semenyih River pollution. So this pollution is being done ataupun is being caused by industry, and then what types of pollutants is being released into the river, for example, and then so the university have to do research on how to, for example, treat this pollution, or maybe how to solve the issue because the industry has to get rid of these pollutants, but they do not know how, or maybe the disposal cost is very expensive, so they need to reuse their waste, for example. Okay, so this is how it is being related to industry. And of course, at the same time, when this kind of research is being done, it is going to be something new because it haven't been done before. Okay? So it can be contributed to the publication. And while at the same time, because it is so important, for example, the pollution in Sungai Semenyih, in Johor Bahru, okay, is quite dangerous. It can be contributed to the development of policy and strategy for the state or for the country themselves. And at the same time, they can also lead to the development or the production of new products, for example, biochar, activated carbon, or new processes for the treatment of the pollutant which has been produced by the industry. So with the development of this kind of research, okay, the university can come up with patents, okay, on products, and then this type of patents and product can be commercialized through or it can be transferred to industry using technology transfer. So either way, okay, this R&D is supposed to be helping or contributing to the industry, okay, directly or indirectly, but and also at the government at the same time. So how they are going to get funding to do this research when they have this issue? Okay, first of all, the industry can come with the university to the university and then provide funding so that the university can do research for them, and they can acquire the result as their own proprietary. This is the common way, and of course, a lot of researcher and lecturer in UPM has done that. This, including Prof. Ali, me, and also most of the lecturers in the university and even in our faculty. Okay, and from this funding and this research, we can have postgraduate study to do research on this, or maybe we can hire them as a RA or also another consultant for the project if they have another study ongoing. Another way for funding is we can acquire them from the government. For example, if the issue surrounding the R&D is not only related to industry. For example, maybe it is related to global warming, ataupun it can be related to national issue lah. Okay, so the funding can be provided by the government, so we can apply. There are a lot of platform for us to apply for this funding, which we have discussed this earlier on in the previous lecture. Okay, and then university at the same time must also provide social responsibility. Okay, this is either through the industry as well as to the community. So social responsibility means that university can be involved with the program to develop activities in rural area. Okay, maybe by teaching or sharing technology with the people on how to do composting or how to manage their own waste, 3R, 4R, and so on. Okay, this is another responsibility of the university. Okay, and then last but not least, okay, university can also involved in the consultancy project ataupun consultation lah, where university provide services to the anyone. Most of the time it is industry. Okay, and then the industry is going to pay for these services or consultation. Okay, and then by doing this, the university can generate income. Okay. Ada soalan tak? Okay. This is just the four responsibility that we can share, but of course, university has a lot of other responsibility as well. And furthermore, okay, the role of university in Malaysia, we have a research university, okay, we have a state university, we have national university, okay. Jadi most of the time this university have their own role and they have their own focuses. Macam UPM, we are focusing on agriculture, for example. Okay, and for UMP, they are focusing on engineering. Okay, UTM, engineering, USM, UM, and so on. Okay. So although whatever the focus of the university is, okay, they have to conduct research. Okay, whereby from this research, the university must be able to develop either new teaching, okay, ataupun they can become more competitive and attractive to the students. Okay, so this new teaching concept, okay, they must be sesuai dengan peredaran zaman, dan juga recent findings dan juga recent technology. Okay, if you are going to just share the same lecture notes from 10 years ago, okay, the technology has been so different. Okay, they are going to be outdated, and then when the students graduated, they are not being prepared to face what are the things that is new to the field that they are going to venture into. Okay, and also university must be able to develop new findings that is beneficial to the community as well as improve life quality. Okay, this is easier to be explained if you see 10 years ago, okay, Serdang is just Serdang, okay, but of course it is very close to UPM, and then Prof. Ali and then his collaborators, Professor Shirai from Japan, okay, develop green Serdang, Prof? Serdang Green Town, sorry. Okay, pernah dengar tak Serdang Green Town?
Biomass Town, Amin.
Serdang Biomass Town.
Okay.
Salah. Siapa pernah dengar Serdang Biomass Town?
Tak.
Ya, alamak.
Ingat, itu nak kena pergi ziarah kat apa biorefinery baru tahu.
Itulah kan. Aduh. Unfortunately. But, okay, have you been to Tasik kat Sri Sedap?
Yes,
Yes, doctor.
Yes,
yes,
okay.
doctor.
Have you seen the recycle house over there?
Yes.
Okay. Previously, I've been in Serdang since 2004, and then I've been there, and I see the changes to the area. Before this, that recycle house is not being managed properly. Okay, and then the even the Tasik themselves, the apa Tasik apa the lake, okay, itself is not very clean. It is not very kata tak menarik perhatian sangat lah. Okay, so after Serdang Green Biomass Town, okay, is being incorporated. Okay, all of this area has been further developed. Okay, the recycle house has been upgraded, and then there are I think 3 person in charge in that recycle house, and also there are other project that has been added. Okay, they have vermicomposting project is being placed in the uh, Pasar Basah, okay, next to Taman Sri Sedang, okay, and then we have biorefinery complex, okay. We also have used cooking oil collection center, okay. Ni pun incorporate into other facility as well, so you can send your used cooking oil to Masjid UPM, Biotech 1, and also complex biorefinery, okay. And then it has been further expanded to MPSJ kat Puchong, okay. So these are the things that the university do to benefit the community as well as improve the life quality. So previously, people who do not know how to discard their used cooking oil, okay, they just throw it away into the dustbin. They put it on the soil, okay, and then after we come and educate them, so now they know that their used cooking oil has value. Previously, they can trade one kilogram of used cooking oil with 1 kilogram of compost, and then now we pay them, okay, 1 kilogram of used cooking oil for RM1, okay. And then there are so many things. Maybe we can have another lecture which is focusing on the biorefinery and or Sedang Biomass Town. So Prof Ali, I think you still have the slide, Prof. I still have your
Ya,
copy.
ada.
Okay. But the one maybe we can share towards the end of week 14 lah. Okay. Let's finish the
Yeah.
content of this lecture first. Okay. And then university must also be able to generate income. Ni generation of income for scientists, researcher, and university. Okay, through so many ways. Okay, they can be through consultation, they can be through R&D, they can be through services, they can be through the commercialization of patents and IP, and also through the lectures. So how do we do it? Okay, we can either do it using by developing knowledge, okay, and then we can spread knowledge. Okay, we interpret knowledge into valuable product. Okay, so by just developing knowledge, but it is not being translated into something that is useful or meaningful, then it could be waste. Okay, orang Jepun cakap motainai. So we do not want to waste knowledge that we have developed, or we do not want to waste time developing ataupun venturing into knowledge that has no benefit in the future. So we want to venture into knowledge that has value that can be commercialized in the future. Okay, and then we cooperate and collaborate with industry. So most of the time, as we have discussed before, okay, the easier way to find things to do research is with by meeting or talking to the industry. Okay, that is why there is another grant. It is called PPRN, Public-Private Research Network, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. So in that grant, the industry will go there and then present their issue and problems, and then university can go there and then present their solutions. So from that funding, okay, the industry have to provide half, and then the government will provide half so that they can solve the issue for the industry. So These are just some of the way of doing it. But of course, that PPRN grant is very small. They have another bigger one, like for prototype and so on, which we have discussed this before. So cooperate and collaboration with industries is very important, because not only we can solve the issue, okay, we can understand what is the um, uh, things that the industry wants, okay, because most of the time the industry will hire students after they graduated, okay. So the earlier we introduce the students to the industry, okay, the better for both parties, industry as well as the student. And the university, they are as the player ataupun bridge yang menghubungkan antara students dengan industry. So it will be easier for the students to acquire job after that, and the university will be having an easier way to know which student they want to absorb into their company. So this is the model for K economy. K economy is knowledge economy. The first time I heard about K economy is when Tun Mahathir is the fourth prime minister. He is the one who coined this term, K economy. I think someone else coined, but he want to adapt for Malaysia for the first time. So in K economy model, okay, we have four phases. Okay. The first phase is to consolidate research, okay, where in this phase we do research discovery, and then we try to acquire technology. Okay, and then this is the phase where the scientific discovery is being made. Okay, and then the researcher can publish paper or present in seminar, conference, and so on, before they can move on to the developing this research. Okay, this is in the phase 2, where they consolidate the research for development. So at this phase 2, the experiment ataupun the finding is being further developed. Okay, they incorporate design, engineering, and also technology integration, so that they can further develop the technology into a prototype level. Okay. And then in the commercialization level, okay, they are consolidating the commercialization, where these findings ataupun this research, after they have been prototype ataupun depend on the technology themselves, they can be patented. Okay, lepas tu they can be licensed to other company, ataupun they want to do their own marketing and also commercialization. Okay, so they can do that, marketing or entrepreneurship. Okay, and then with that they can move to phase 4, where they can start to produce spin-off company ataupun joint venture company, so that they can commercialize their patents or products. Okay, so in the first phase 4, it is called knowledge enterprise, K enterprise. So this is what is being called as good innovation system, and this is what the model is supposed to work. However, okay, this is the reality. Okay, so you can see that the letter is become smaller and smaller. So R is very big. Okay, D has become smaller. Commercialization become smaller, and then entrepreneurship, we do not know. Okay, because most of the time we are focusing on the research themselves, but we do not we do not, ataupun we do not have the means, okay, to further develop the findings. Okay, why we do not have the means ataupun we are not able to further develop the research ataupun findings. Okay, later kita akan discuss selepas ni. But then this is the reality. Okay, kalau kita ada 1000 research in the university, okay, how much can be moved into prototyping? Okay, and then from that prototype, how much can be moved into patent teknologi ataupun teknologi licensing, ataupun ada takers industri yang nak ambil teknologi ni untuk dipatentkan ataupun untuk dikomersialkan. Okay, and then from there, how many has moved into the spin-off company ataupun entrepreneurship? Jadi kita pernah share sebelum ni kan table, figure yang graph tu, maknanya daripada 10,000 idea, okay, berapa banyak has become successful to be commercialized? Sorry, 1,000 je kot, salah ni. Okay, so either 2 to 10 lah, okay, which is able to be commercialized. So this is the issue. We do not want to have a lot of failure. Okay, we want to have all of this research to be able to be commercialized. Okay, and then however, that is if the material ataupun the finding is research ataupun ada products. Okay, but in term of knowledge, okay, kalau ekonomi, okay, university, if they just sell ataupun they just commercialize the knowledge, okay, so basically from the idea ataupun scientific discovery, and then we have innovative technology, we are going to do research on it in the lab, okay, and then we are going to evaluate the findings, okay, and then develop prototyping. Okay, and then we in this development and innovation, the prototype is being moved on, and then it will be further developed into an IP that can be commercialized. Okay. However, this segregation ataupun we have segmented the role ataupun level yang mana research should be done by the university, and then the rest of it should be done by the industry. Okay. So basically, university should focuses on the development of this finding until lab level, because most of the time university do not have the capacity and the capability to do the big scale prototype. Okay. Luckily, you are in UPM. Okay, UPM we have a few very good pilot scale study. Okay, we have a pilot plan of biorefinery in UPM. We have microwave biochar technology in engineering. We have super critical fluid in food tech, and so on. Okay, we have Putra Cat. Putra Cat has nothing to do with cat. Putra Cat is Putra catalytic converter, the catalyst to convert oil into biodiesel. Professor Taufik Yap. So we have a few of big scale plants. But generally for university, the role is until to evaluate the finding. Sorry, itu soalan untuk kami. Tak lagi. And then the rest of the development is should be the role of the industry. Okay, but that is why I said earlier on. Okay, if the findings ataupun research is something that the industry wants, then they would be able to be at this stage lah. Dia akan ambil lah teknologi ni and then create prototype and so on. But if the product themselves is not something that the industry want, then who is going to take that? Kan? That is why it is very important during the development of a project, it must be something that have commercial value. It must be something that have takers, okay, in the future. Okay. Generally macam itulah. Sometimes kita dah fikir semua benda tu pun at the end of the day tak ada takers juga, kan? So tak apalah, at least we have done our part. So what are the challenges? Okay, ada banyak challenges for commercialization of research finding. The first one is politics. When I say politics, try to put your our normal politics. This is the politics surrounding the development policies of R&D, innovation as well as entrepreneur program. Okay, sometimes you know, previously we have discussed that in the United States they have a very good policy to empower their R&D. Okay, jadi the government, the United States government is investing a lot of money into R&D. Okay, jadi they have a lot of research institute, and then this research institute come up with a lot of innovations, and then from this many innovation, some of them manage to be in the entrepreneurship program ataupun to be commercialized. So these are the things that the government can actually contribute through politics to make sure that the process is easier, to make sure that funding is there. Okay, but of course that is the politics surrounding the government. But on the researcher side, they have to have a good politics as well. Okay, they must be doing the research in good faith. Okay, they should not be applying for the funding. But then they do not deliver the supposed outcome. Okay, and also the industry should be having a very good quality as well. They shouldn't be. This is true for university as well, and they shouldn't be competing too much competition is good, but healthy competition. Okay, we do not want to have bad competition, which is not good. So that is politics. And then another challenges is to have a good human resource. Okay, the quantity of innovative, creative, and appropriate human resource ataupun knowledgeable workers. Okay, most of the time we have knowledge workers. Okay, we have ataupun we produce graduate with good knowledge, but sometimes they are lacking in hands-on ataupun practical. Okay, that is why most of the time universities will have a internship ataupun latihan industri, industrial training, so that the student will be able to acquire additional skills daripada industri, and then they can learn ataupun they can experience how the industry works. Okay, because most of this experience cannot be obtained while the student are learning inside university's environment. Okay, unless the student can also be involved in the businesses in UPM. Okay, that is why we have a student business center. Bukan student business center, apa dipanggil? Saya tak ingat. Tapi we have this within within UPM, okay, whereby the students is being given facility ataupun dipermudahkan urusan if they want to do businesses in UPM. Okay, you can have like discounted price for rental of university's facility, macam kedai, okay, dekat pusat mahasiswa kan. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, last year, okay, one of the student before COVID, they apply for the shop, okay, at the pusat mahasiswa tu, so that they can do a business there. Okay, but of course there are a lot of applicants, so they have to be like very competitive lah. Okay. And then changes in R&D approaches. Okay, this is another challenge. Okay, because you see, this is easier if I say about GMO lah. Most of the time in Malaysia, previously we do not have a very strict ataupun very stringent lining for the use of GM ataupun genetically modified organism in Malaysia. So whenever we are doing a research ataupun we modify the genetic structure of microorganism, they are being recorded in terms of like pattern and so on. But nowadays, okay, I think starting from 2 years ago, they started to incorporate the regulation whereby whoever want to do research regarding GMO, they must be registered, and also they have to comply to the regulation that has been stated by the authorized bodies lah. Okay, and then there are also another issues not only surrounding the GM, there are also issues surrounding drug study, okay, and the NPRA, and then we have issues surrounding waste management ataupun studies related to waste, because some of the authorized bodies who have the license to operate ataupun manage waste, okay, and then they do R&D on their own, where they are not authorized to do that because university and are being authorized to do research, and then this industry, they are not authorized research facility, they are doing research on their own, so they are being summoned and so on. So those are the things that has been changed, okay, and then that is why the changes in R&D approaches has to be done. And then involvement of industry in the commercialization of research finding. Okay, this has been better and better nowadays as compared to the previous time. Okay, most of the time it is either the industry come to the university with their issues, and then the university try to solve the issue through services ataupun consultancy project ataupun research contract project, and then the industry is able to commercialize their findings. Okay, ataupun the university can also come to the university and then select whichever technology that the university already have that they want to commercialize, Okay, and then the industry can commercialize the research finding. Ataupun, okay, the university can be together with the the industry can be together with the university, okay, not only in the development of the R&D, okay, they can also be there to join in the development of the student themselves, okay. In 2016, saya, Prof. Ali, and also other researchers, we have been to Korea University, okay, and then kat sana we met our colleague, Dr. Faizal, okay, who is doing postdoc at the moment, and then he brought us inside Korea University, so we visited a few faculty, and then to my surprise, okay, there are faculty who is working together with industry. For example, engineering faculty is working together with Hyundai. You know Hyundai yang develop kereta tu, okay kan? So they have the program is being tailored so that the students is going to become an engineer for car development. Jadi bila student to graduate, they are going to be hired by Hyundai. And also another faculty of economics, okay, they are the Bank of Korea, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, also involved in the development of the program, and then in the training of the students, talent development and so on. And then when the students graduated, they can work with the banks. So those are types of involvement of the industry that can be done within the university to either commercialize research finding ataupun to further develop academic program ataupun whatever is suitable lah. Okay. And then originality as well as intellectual property, IP. So to commercialize this research finding, ni ada satu isu yang baru je muncul semalam. Must show the originality and creativity in solving the problems. Apa yang baru muncul semalam? Isu surrounding this originality and creativity. Ada my IPO dalam tu. Siapa dah dengar? Oh, ada chat. Harimau menangis harimau teriak. Surprisingly, okay, someone, okay, saya tak tahulah, saya tak kenal dia sebelum ni, sampailah semalam. Okay, so she said that she already patented the name of harimau menangis so that nobody else can use that name. When the moment I've read that, I already realized that there's something wrong. There's no way she can patent the name, so it should be a copyright ataupun trademark, kan? And then if it is a copyright ataupun trademark, she cannot trademark the name of harimau menangis because that is already a common name for the portion of meat. Okay, and then it should be something related to the maybe design of the writing, mungkin corak, color, warna, font size, font structure and so on. Okay, and then after I came out to that conclusion, I was about to write something, but not long after I'm prepared to write the writing, okay, my IPO come up with a press release, okay, where they said that the copyright actually has been submitted for filing. Baru submit, belum lagi file ataupun honored kepada orang yang apply itulah. Jadi Datuk Roslan, okay, sama pula nama dengan ayah saya, okay, said that she should not be in front of my IPO. Maknanya dia baru submit, so janganlah claim dia dah dapat benda tu kan. Jadi maka berhuhulah semua orang kan. Jadi that is something originality and intellectual property. Kadang-kadang kelakar manusia ni, dia nak claim everything dia punya, padahal semua orang pun guna term yang sama. So I'm hoping that maybe if she acquire that trademark ke kan ataupun copyright, maybe it should be on the form of the creative lah, the color ataupun font size, font selection of font. Okay, not on the name of harimau menangis sendiri. Okay, because this is totally different as compared to shell out. Okay, shell out is not a common name. Okay, previously when it is being filed for trademark, okay, it is a new name. Okay, jadi the moment it is being filed, Okay, a lot of people realize that this is a good name and then they can reuse the name and so on. So when the moment it is being affected, already a lot of people use that name. Okay. However, the name of the shell out is already being copyright, and then nobody else can use it even in the form of sound. Maknanya kalau you eja pun the name as mana ni? Shell out. Even if you mention it's like this, okay, you can be summoned, okay, because they already copyright the name, because the name is not common, and they even copyright on the sound of it, okay, not only on the creative style or creative writing style and so on. Jadi this is different as compared to harimau menangis. Harimau menangis is already common. Dia macam nak patent ataupun nak copyright kan apa benda yang lain yang ni, benda-benda common lah, apa slipper Jepun kan. So you copyright slipper Jepun's name and then you have your brand name slipper Jepun. Nobody else can use the name slipper Jepun except you, because you already filed this name. You cannot do that because the name, the origin of the name has been there a long time before, even not before we were born. Okay. Jadi there are certain rules for this application of IP. Dia tak boleh simply cakap dia dah file patent ke copyright semua, benda tu dah accept. Dia ada prior art search before they can do that. Prior art search. Okay. So I believe that maybe they haven't done this ataupun the lawyer have done this, but the applicants do not really understand what is this. So in commercialization, originality and IP is very important. It must show originality and creativity in solving the problems. And then finally, market and competitiveness. This is very common. I think all of you already understand the issue surrounding market and competitor. So how does the relationship between industry and networking? Okay, so between universities and other university as agencies and research center, this is quite sensitive lah. You see, sometimes when university is applying grants, okay, and then the RI ataupun research center, research institute will come up with, and then saying that okay, this is UC should teach, okay, research should be done by RI, research institute, okay, ataupun agency lain, okay, we are the agency who should be conducting this type of research, so you shouldn't do that, this kind of research and so on. I'm thinking that this is not the way that we are supposed to work. Okay, the way forward for us to work is by working together. Okay, we should be able to share facilities. Okay, sharing. Okay, share resources, share expertise. Okay, not competing. Okay, like I said before, competition is good, but not too much. Sikit-sikit okay lah. Most of the time we have to share. Okay. And then we can have between this university and university, we can have student exchange, okay, or mobility, not only within the country, also with other countries. For example, sometimes students in Malaysia feels that the way of Malaysian to study is very common, and so on, kan. So we send them to Japan, and then the student from Japan come to Malaysia, okay, and then they can experience how the study is being conducted between these two states, okay, and then they can come back and then share their experience with their other students, so that they can bring back the good things and then spread the good things. Okay, some of the findings between these two university, I'm sharing the one the student exchange finding between UPM and also Japan. So they were saying that most of the time students in Malaysia are very relaxed, okay. Macam student Jepun macam strict sangat kan, tepat masa kan, lepas tu rigid, tegak kan. Student Malaysia macam relax, lambat tak apa kan, tak ada lecturer nak marah kan. Okay, habis kelas pergi kelas lain semua ni. But the thing is they found that Malaysian people are relaxed, okay, not like Japan's student. But finding from Malaysian student, okay, they realize that okay, we are actually not hardworking enough. Okay, we should be more hardworking if we want to become developed like Japan and so on. So those are the things that when they share with their colleague ataupun their friends, okay, it is going to be something meaningful. Okay, student exchange is very important. And also from student exchange and mobility, they can also share ataupun they can acquire experience regarding the experiments. Okay, we have students coming from Indonesia, Universitas Indonesia. So they were with us for about 1 month. Okay, and then they did study on the biomass and so on, and then they come back to Japan and then they try to um, uh, expand their research findings and so on. So this can actually help with the further development of knowledge, because sometimes the biomass is similar within one country and another. If the biomass is different, maybe they can do the same experiment but change the biomass and so on. So these are the things that we should do, and we should be sharing a lot of this. Okay, bukannya terlalu banyak competition. Okay, and then we should be able to also integrate the research needs. Sometimes the research require a purchase of very expensive machines. Okay, and then not all university is able to acquire this machine. When I did my master study, not all university have SEM, scanning electron microscope, but now a lot of university already have this. So when only a few university have SEM, okay, we have to either collaborate ataupun work with other university to use their SEM ataupun bayar lah to be able to use this facility. But the most important thing is uh, if we do that, we do not need to everyone purchase the same machines. Okay, we just when we need to use this, we go there. Okay, if we, because sometimes we do not need to use that every day. Okay, like I have both of me and Prof. we have students who need to use software. The software is very expensive and we do not want to purchase it. So we send the student to another university, UniKL, to use this software. Okay, and then we have collaborators there. Okay, so the collaborators benefited with the publication of the finding ataupun research study, while we our student is benefiting because they can use the facility, while we the researcher, we are benefiting because we do not need to purchase the software. Okay, so nampak tak, sharing this is very good for most situation. Okay. And then we can have postgraduate students who are co-supervised by a few university ataupun within country ataupun di luar daripada Malaysia juga. So this is a very good experience for the students lah. Okay. And the relationship between industry and university. Okay. So academic and curriculum should tally with the industrial requirement. So that is why in UPM, in most university in Malaysia, we have this MQA, Malaysia Quality Agency. Okay, so this MQA is, require us to revise our curriculum every 5 years. Jadi between you and your senior kan, after 5 years, sometimes you can see that the name of the degree is different. We have like Bachelor Science Biotechnology, and then we have Bachelor Science Honours Biotechnology, and then we have Bachelor Science Biotechnology with Honours. If you, during my time, we have Bachelor Science Honours Microbiology, 3 years. So we compress 120 credit in 3 years. So in your time right now, you have Bachelor Science of Microbiology with Honours, I think 136 ataupun 132 credit hours for 4 years kan. So you have industrial training for 1 semester. During my time, we have to go for industrial training by our own during mid-semester break. Okay, and without allowance, without insurance, without so many things. Everything is on our own. The risk is on our own. Saya bukan cakap seorang Ada orang tak?
Ada.
Ada.
Lama saya takut cakap seorang. Okay. So, okay, sorry. Basically, okay, Nampak tak perbezaan dia daripada zaman saya sampai sekarang ni? Okay, so because the university is now very close working with industry, we have the academic is being tailored so that when the student is graduated, they are ready for the industry. Okay, sebab tu sometimes you will see that your curriculum subject is different as compared to your senior. Kadang-kadang dia bertambah and then you rasa alah makin susah lah subjek semester ni dan sebagainya kan. Kenapa tak buat macam your senior dulu? The changes is being done because we have to make sure that your curriculum is tally with the industrial requirement. And then we have industrial training not only for students, for lecturers juga. That is why we have lecturer. Kita bukan ada student exchange saja, kita ada juga lecturers exchange. Tapi kita panggil lecturer exchange, kita panggil staff exchange ataupun bukan je lah nama dia. Okay, so we not only sending lecturers, we send supporting staff, lab assistant and so on. Okay, so that they can learn how the other university is working ataupun how lab is working in another country, okay, and so on. So this is very important. And then we also have sharing expertise. Okay, we have invited professor. Okay, last year we have a lot. I think 3. Bukan last year, last 2 years. Okay, even earlier last year before COVID, we also have invited professor. Okay, so this invited professor, they are going to give talk. Okay, I think for microbiology last year we have professor from Lund University. He was the supervisor for Dr. Asilah. Okay, so this professor also visited biorefinery. That's why I remembered him. Okay. And then he's sharing his finding, how his university is working, how the industry university is working in his country. So we can take this valuable information and then try to apply into our curriculum and development of the academic program in UPM. Okay. And also industry can fund research program, in university. Okay, this can be achieved through many ways. Like I've mentioned before, it can be either research contract, they can be consultancy services. Okay, but very rarely, they are going to give grants ataupun funding for research lah. Okay, and also commercialization of research finding. Okay, this can be seen easier if you go to Putra Science Park. Okay, where spin-off company is being set up, to commercialize IP from UPM. Okay, and then at the same time, if the university have good exposure to industry, this will give good opportunity to graduated students. You see, when you are going for industry training later on, I've visited, most of the lecturer will have opportunity to visit student who is at industry training, and then I try to get as much input as possible, and then among the input, positive input that I got from the industry is they want to have the students to work with them after they graduated. So before this, our curriculum have industrial training during after semester 6. So after you have industrial training, you have to go come back to university and then finish another 2 semesters before you can go for working. But the curriculum is being changed because the industry wants the student directly after industrial training. That is why you are having your industrial training at the end of your semester. So with this, we are hoping that you will get better opportunity to secure job. But of course, you have to be competitive and also good in the eye of your potential employer lah, ataupun your industrial trainer and industrial training employer. Okay. Okay. Ada soalan tak bawah sini? Okay. So how is the implementation status right now? Okay, so between university and industry in Malaysia, the academy and curriculum should tally with the industrial requirement. Okay, we are almost there. Okay, industrial training, yes, we have that. Okay, sharing of expertise. Okay, we do not invite a lot of professors yet because most of the time, if we invite them, we are going to have to support their allowance and during their stays. Okay, so the university have to spend a lot of money for inviting professors. That is why they are only selecting a few professors from other country to be in UPM. Okay, and then industry to fund research program. This is very low. Okay, in development of research funding, I think we can give this 2 star nowadays. Commercialization of research funding, yes, we are increasing in terms of this one. Okay, and then job opportunity for graduated students. Okay, this is should be increasing. Um, as for university with other university, in terms of sharing facility, this is very good. Okay, we have this being developed since years ago. As for students exchange or mobility, this is also in good phase, okay, but it is being stopped during COVID-19 issue. And then we have integrates the research need, okay, between universities and other university. Yes, we are still working on this, yeah, but the progress is good. Sharing publication, yes, we are at good stage. And then postgraduate study between university and university, we can also further improve this one. Um, you see, when we are actually having a very good relationship with between university and industry, okay, most of the time industry is among industry and industries, they are actually good friends or they know each other. Okay, so that is why if we start to create a very good impression, okay, they are going to share the impression with their other industry, okay, ataupun other colleagues. That is why try to imagine that, jangan imagine dah, try to train yourself as an ambassador of UPM. Sebab when you go out there, okay, and then let's say someone your senior do not perform very well during the industrial training. Okay, I've seen this, and some of the industry actually told me this. They do not want to take industrial training students from UPM for that specific project, because they say that they have bad experience in the past. So I'm saying that, okay, maybe that is a very localized case. Maknanya student tu je yang problem, okay, not everyone. So we try to ensure that dia tak serik lah to take another student from UPM for industrial training. And then I met him again the next year, okay, and then he said that okay, this students actually good. Dia kata, so that case that previous case is localized lah, maknanya student tu yang bermasalah, bukannya UPM punya academic system yang bermasalah. So you can see that satu orang student je buat kacau, okay, ya, jadi dia punya impression tu terkena dekat junior-junior dia. That is why every time you go out there and you have to try to make good impression, especially when you are carrying the name of not only the university, tapi kalau you carry the name of university, try to make sure that it give good impression lah. Okay. So there are 5 types of cooperation. Okay, ada 3 fasa lah, alright, between university and industry. Okay, so in the first phase, the cooperation type is to acquire help from industry for industrial training program. Jadi university, you see, boleh seek for agreement ataupun approval ataupun helps from industry, so that they can place students in the industry for industrial training. So that is the first phase. Okay, in the second phase, okay, we can have like exchange of expertise and attachment program for staff. Okay, this stage require more input, okay, ataupun more dia panggil apa, financial implication. Sebab when they have like expertise and attachment program for staff, it is either they change the staff between the university and industry but with no allowance. Maknanya gaji yang staff tu dapat adalah daripada institution masing-masing. Okay, but let's say that the institution do not want to pay for their salary, okay, they have to negotiate on that. Okay, so in the third phase, okay, they have consultancy work. Okay, this is by the means of contract research lah, ataupun consultancy and services. Okay, in the fourth phase, okay, they have like matching research, okay, and then development of the research findings. And finally, they want to have in phase 5, they want to have business partnership, technology transfer program, commercialization process, and most importantly is sustainability. Okay. Jadi in sustainability, this actually means that when the technology is being transferred ataupun when the knowledge is being transferred to the industry, it means that the industry can be sustainable ataupun boleh bekerja sendiri, produce sendiri products tu tanpa bantuan ataupun dia panggil apa ya? Biasa kalau selepas kita transfer teknologi dia ada commissioning. Apa Prof? Macam mana kita nak further explain sustainability ni untuk industri? Dia boleh work on them their own lah. Okay, maknanya dia tak perlu lagi consult university untuk run the technology ataupun kalau dia jumpa masalah, okay, they can solve the problems on their own. Okay, selepas the technology has been transferred. So role of the industry again, okay, they should be actively involved in funding research, especially in fundamental research. Okay, fundamental research is the research that is being not the focus of funding from industry. Sebab fundamental research ni biasanya dia punya application dia lambat lagi. Okay, that is why it is having very low amount of funding. Okay. But then for the industry themselves, before they can fund a research, they want to see that the person ataupun the university institution yang dia orang nak fund mestilah ada track record yang sangat baik. Kan, jadi they do not want to be funding, but finally they do not get anything in return. So itu adalah juga antara sebab kenapa they are lacking of fund from the industry in Malaysia. But also industry Malaysia is most of them bukanlah billionaire punya company kan, jadi dia tak boleh nak fund besar-besaran sangat. Okay. And then industry should also provide R&D components to enhance the innovation and cooperation. So industry should be ready to receive the technology. Okay. This one kan, actually together with the funding, okay, when Prof Ali want to develop the biogas project in 2004, Prof ada?
Yes, I mean.
Do you want to share about the biogas project when you meet the CEO of Felda? When do you want to apply for funding? I think that is relevant for this one, Prof.
Alright. Okay. We started the biogas from palm oil mill effluent with Felda in 2002 initially. Kemudian at that time we couldn't get any funding even from Felda because they are not there to fund R&D kan, they are a company kan, go to the government basically. We went to the government but we applied for funding tapi it was not approved because they said that biogas is an old technology. Nothing new, surprisingly lah. So but we knew that it was something important for the industry sebab tak ada commercialization lagi kan. Biogas dia just buang saja to the atmosphere, polluting the environment as well as wasting the energy for methane. So we managed to get some help from the Japanese government and set up the pilot plant dekat Felda Serting Hilir Mill, kilang Felda Serting Hilir di Negeri Sembilan. Then it was until 2002 up to 2005 we ran out of money. We put up a plan sebab Felda kata okay, they can allow us to use the facility tapi they are not willing to give us any money lah. So kita pergi ke MPOB pun sama juga. MPOB kata they only can give us basically in terms of advice and so on. So no money from them. Although actually MPOB receives a lot of fund from the palm oil industry untuk R&D work for palm oil related activities lah. So tak ada luck there. So we went on. So until 2005 we are stuck. We couldn't get any more money. So kita go back to Felda. Kita kata in order to continue we will need to bring in third party lah. At the time we were thinking of some industry from Japan lah to come in, develop technology dengan kita. And in the end kita share dah the technology tu or the IP tu. And then they start to ask us, how much do we need? How much do you need? So bila kata how much do you need tu, kita kata we need 3.8 million masa tu. We were ready lah. We were ready. We need 3.8 million. So the CEOs told us, okay lah, I think if we give you 3 million, is it enough? Alhamdulillah. So we said, okay, we will work on the 3 million. So kita managed to commercialize it. So after that, we propose other okay, from the biogas itself. Lepas tu, once we finish the R&D work, Felda actually commercialized it. They put in another 5 million to make the project commercial scale dengan conversion of the biogas into energy and then to sell it to TMB for grid connection lah. So that was one of the first renewable energy project from biogas. And since then, the project has been adopted by the government to be one of the projects under the green energy development program. And also for Felda now they have another 12 mills yang fitted with that technology lah, and also other companies lah. So alhamdulillah it's commercialized. So that one done. So and on top of that, we also propose to Felda additional projects on composting and so on. So we got another 2 million. So in the end, in total, we got 5 million lah from Felda for the R&D work. InsyaAllah. Alhamdulillah. Okay, Darren?
Thank you, bro. So itu cover the point number 1 and point number 2, and then I think should cover also point number 4. Ada sikit insentif Prof daripada Felda for the successful project.
Yeah, right.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay. So those are the role of industry, and also nowadays we also incorporate industry for the development of curriculum and academic in university. Jadi I've been told that the university have industry partner, Prof, untuk bantu set up academic ataupun curriculum di UPM. So this is very good move by UPM untuk memastikan yang kita punya our student is competitive and ready to be to find jobs in the industry. Okay. And then industry must also be ready to take the risk because this is an investment. Okay, bila dia invest tak semestinya terus untung kan, kadang-kadang dia rugi dulu. So this is one of the things that industry are very afraid of, because if they take the risk, if they are not successful, they are going to lose. But they, as the industry, must be willing to take the risk because they are the industry. So issues in patent, okay, kalau in term of commercialization, sometimes we have issues for the patent in the term of the originality, okay, awareness on the importance of the IP ataupun intellectual properties, culture in developing patents. So nowadays we have a very good culture lah. Everybody is trying to get an IP. Sebab tu yang semalam punya case dia file bulan 11, dia dah claim dah dia punya bulan 1 padahal tak ada apa lagi keluar kan. Claim everything. Okay. Culture in developing patent, and then quantity versus quality of the patents. Okay. Sometimes the quantity of the patents is a lot, but then the quality of the patents that is actually determines the income that can be generated by the patents. Prof Ali pun pernah share sebelum ni, dia ada beberapa patent, but the one that is generating income ataupun yang being commercialized adalah yang tak dipatentkan kan. So those are the kadang-kadang readiness of the market juga dia tak ready untuk that patent. Okay. Jadi dia tak ni lah. Okay. Patent should be used for designing and innovating the industry based on the knowledge. Okay. Jadi some of the industry they are actually working on the things that is there, and then they are just venturing into the red ocean. Maknanya dia masuk dalam satu business tu, the plan is to compete and then beat the competitor. Okay, jadi the pattern is actually there to make sure that the business is better than that. Maknanya kalau dia ada pattern, maknanya dia adalah new business. Okay, jadi dia tidaklah venture into the red ocean strategy. Maybe they can venture into the blue ocean strategy, new products, okay, niche market, dan dia juga tidak compete dengan existing products. Okay. System to enhance the researcher to pattern dia research finding. Okay, ini dah dipermudahkan. Okay. Most of the university already have their patent ataupun office yang untuk bantu filing the patents. Okay. Patent should be considered as requirement for job promotion. Yang ni antara perkara yang dipertimbangkan lah ya. Okay, patent ownership should be clear. Okay, ini tadi show lah. Most of the time ownership of the patent is clear. All of the name that is being mentioned in the patents is the owner of the patents lah. Okay, nanti dia akan mention lah berapa persen orang ni, berapa persen orang ni, and so on. Financial royalty incentive to encourage research, commercialization and product development. Okay, yang ni pun important. Okay, because sometimes we have KPI which is already heavy, okay, but then a lot of people actually overachieve, dia achieve lebih daripada their normal KPI. So what do they get if they achieve more? Okay, so incentive is a good thing if for this higher achiever lah, ataupun staff yang perform lebih daripada KPI. Okay. And then action after commercialization. Okay, so if the company already commercialized the patents ataupun the product, they should be able to create multiple products, maknanya diversify the product themselves. Okay, macam cerita Panadol itu lah, ada Panadol biasa, ada Panadol Actifast, ada Panadol apa lagi? Macam-macam Panadol lah kan, soluble, okay, dan sebagainya. So by the creation of the multiple products, the company can actually benefit ataupun generate even more income than they originally have. Kadang-kadang produk-produk lain pun boleh buat juga, especially food. Kadang-kadang the initial foods, this issue come up because of yesterday's Harimau Menangis punya issue. Okay, I remembered about cheese, banana cheese. Jadi ada orang letak banana coklat, banana peanut butter, banana macam-macam. Okay, so by the creation of multiple products, they can actually address a lot of other market yang mungkin tak suka cheese ataupun allergic terhadap cheese. Okay, so they like chocolate, so they can create banana chocolate, ataupun maybe dia tak suka coklat dengan cheese, dia suka peanut butter. So those are the things that can be addressed when they create multiple products. Okay. But of course they have to also estimate ataupun study the market size lah before they start. Takut dia overproduce. Bila overproduce, rugilah pula kan. Okay. And then company should be adding value to the products to fulfill the market demands. Yang ni pun for example kita ambil yang dah ni lah, Harimau Menangis tadi tu, daging harimau menangis. By itself is already something that is high value. Okay, but by adding more rempah, spices ke apa ke, dia menjadikan benda tu even more expensive. Dan maybe you can trade secret kan the recipe macam KFC. Okay, so KFC they have trade secret on the recipe of their chicken. Okay. So the chicken itself is already have value, but the recipe themselves add even more value to the products. Okay, jadi by adding this value, they can actually fulfill the market demands. And then research should be continuously conducted to make sure that the developed product is competitive in terms of technology. Jadi kalau pun the product has been patented, okay, it can only be protected for 10 years. Okay, sama juga copyright yang kalau in terms of name tu dia boleh copyright protected for 10 years je, lepas tu dia kena renew kan. Okay. But then, katalah produk ni, after 10 years, they are going to have a competitor yang dia dah estimate lah. Especially kalau food ni dia sekejap je, setahun, 2 tahun dah ada competitor. Kadang-kadang tak sampai setahun pun dah ada competitor. Okay, so what do they do? How do they actually make sure that their product is competitive enough untuk bertahan ataupun sustainable towards the challenge of time? Okay, ataupun adakah dia nak create produk yang boleh survive in the market in term of brand sekejap. Lepas tu dia create another product sebab dia tahu dah produk yang ni dah tak boleh pergi. So dia create another product. Okay. Pernah dengar tak Minate? Produk daging, produk steak tu kan? Okay, so dia the brand itself, okay, dia lepas a few years dia tahu dah dia punya sales akan stagnant, dia takkan naik lagi tinggi dah kan. So what they did is they sell the product, they sell the brand, okay, the whole franchise. Lepas tu dia create another brand. Apa nama dia? Saya tak ingat. Tapi saya pernah dengar lah the owner of the Menate, they actually sells the franchise and then they create another brand. Because for them the market is already at stagnant level for the business ataupun for the franchise. And they also know that the market ataupun kita lah we are actually senang boring lah dengan satu-satu makanan tu kan. Sometimes dengan generasi yang lebih muda dia nak benda yang viral kan, dia nak benda-benda yang hits kan. Jadi some brands they can only sustain for a certain time, after that there is no demand anymore. So the company needs to come with a new brand for a product which is similar. Okay? Mungkin diubahlah sikit-sikit kan, tapi sama je. Okay? So those are another type of business model yang boleh dibuat lah. Okay? Ataupun dia just create lah, tambah lagi value pada produk dia, jadi lebih baik dan sebagainya. And also the industry should, selepas commercialization, they should always think on how to use the information from fundamental research to improve develop products. Okay, jadi that is why sometimes the investment on the fundamental research is very important. Dia tak adalah directly reflect kepada applied sciences ataupun applied research. Okay, but then fundamental research ni contoh kalau kita in term of applied, okay, katalah kita tengok buah sawit extraction of oil from palm oil, oil palm, okay. Jadi dia press, dia mula dia sterilize the fruits and then they shred and then they press and then they get the oil. So the extraction is about 20% of the oil, okay. But in term of fundamentals, katalah research fundamentals is to develop new variety of oil palm yang boleh generate lebih banyak oil. Katalah 20% extraction tu masih ada banyak lagi baki dia kan. Katalah 20% daripada 30% oil daripada pokok tu dia dapat. But then katalah initial oil concentration adalah 40%, so they could get even higher concentration of oil in for extraction. Jadi dia kena tengoklah dekat fundamental research macam mana the seed themselves ataupun the variety of the oil palm can be further developed to produce even more oil, ataupun maybe they can formalize the ratio of fertilizer to make sure that the fruits can generate even higher concentration of oil ke. So those are the fundamental research. Jadi they shouldn't be overlooked about fundamental research. They kena tengok juga fundamental research so that it can help them to further improve their developed product. And then working with international institution, okay, this is another issues. Okay, we have limited financial. Okay, kita ada financial implication lah bila kita involved dengan international institution. Okay, especially when we have like money exchange line. Kalau students daripada Malaysia, okay, bila pergi ke Japan, katalah we as a UPM daripada Malaysia kena support our students allowance di Japan, it is going to be very difficult lah sebab living cost in Japan is very high. But then if the Japanese students come to Malaysia, okay, the living cost is very low as compared to them, so it is good for them. So that is why during the students transfer, okay, in Malaysia, okay, we support the Japanese students, and then the Malaysian student in Japan is being supported by Japanese university. So that can address the issue on the limitation of financial. And then we have limited cooperation with international agency. This has a lot of issue, especially when we deal with international agencies. Sometimes the cooperation is being limited due to language barrier. Sometimes it is limited due to the political barrier. Sometimes it is being limited due to the secret disebabkan ada IP, ada IP lah especially kan, jadi mungkin ada trade secret yang dia nak hide. So there are some limited cooperation dengan international agency, okay. And sometimes even international agency they would want to share their working space with the Malaysian staff and so on. So those are some issues. And then we have to also explore in important and competitive research field, okay, with the international institution, so that we can have actually advantage, okay. And when we actually add advantage, okay, we have the upper hand. Then maybe we, like I said earlier on, okay, the competition sikit-sikit ni okay, but we should work, when we have the upper hand, okay, we should work for collaboration. Jadi bila kita dah ada advantage, kita boleh further collaborate dengan kelebihan yang kita ada lah, right? And then we can also improve networking relationship in order to improve sharing facilities and expertise. Okay, so let's say previously Japan and US are at war, okay, World War II kan. Jadi they do not have good networking relationship. And then if we want to see that they are having actually sharing facilities and expertise at that moment, that's not going to happen. But then what Japan did is they try to improve their networking relationship. They send their staff and their students to United States, and then they learn from the United States, and then they come back to Japan, and then they further develop the knowledge that they have already acquired, okay, and then they come up with their own product which is much more superior as the thing that they have already learned when they were in the sharing facilities. So those are the advantages. And then also we should involve funding, okay, we should have involve funding from international agencies, okay. Yang ni sometimes the international agencies would like to work with the country in the Southeast Asia, so dia adalah program-program dia. Jadi whenever that happen, okay, we can try to be involved with to acquire this funding from international agencies. And then finally we should be able to enhance and improve students exchange program. Jadi yang ni kita dah tengah improve lah, which is good, but then it has to be stopped during the COVID-19 issue ni lah. Okay. So this is the golden question, biotechnology industry and job opportunity. Cuba kamu jawab. Is university responsible to find jobs for graduates? Ya ke tak? Siapa rasa ya kat tangan? Cik tak nampak pula kan? Tak sanggup nak jawab kan? Takut kena rekod. Kamu rasa itulah saya, kita pun sebagai lecturers kita ada pendapat masing-masing lah juga kan, okay. Tapi is university responsible to find job for graduates? In my opinion, university is responsible to make sure that the graduates is ready to acquire jobs. Maknanya kalau graduate to graduate, graduated, okay, they should be competitive enough to
job
secure
ready.
Huh?
Job ready.
Yes, Prof. Job ready. Maknanya dia dah ready untuk secure job, because the university has already developed the curriculum based on the demand ataupun industrial intervention. Maknanya kita dah dapat input daripada industri, dan juga we, especially for biotech, we are working on with the National Biotechnology Policy. Okay, kat situ together with the reports come up with produced by the Bioeconomy Corp, okay, they are mentioning that we have like 170,000 job opportunity and so on. So that is why when we receive student, and then we prepare the student, groom the students, okay, to enter the market, we already have in our mind, okay, based on the report, that the job is there. Okay, unfortunately, when the student graduated, they couldn't find jobs. Okay, so I'm not sure that is if this is the fault of the university, because we are already working with the numbers that we have. Okay, but then maybe in term of the reporting yang kurang tepat menyebabkan we tak realise bahawa the job is actually not that much in term of number. Okay. And then university should be blamed to unemployed graduates. Susah juga nak cakap ni kan ada yang rekod saya ni kan letak ke atas pasal saya kena. Tapi saya rasa kan we should have graduates yang macam Prof Ali cakap kita kena ada graduates yang graduate dia generate employment, maknanya dia create jobs, okay? Dia jadi businessman, okay? So that he or she can create job for the other graduates, okay? Maknanya bukannya semua graduate akan bekerja untuk orang, okay? Sebaliknya dia mengerjakan orang, okay? Salah pula bunyi dia, macam mana? Memberi kerja kepada orang, okay? Alright, jadi that is why we have Prof?
You become the boss.
Yes, okay. That is why we have this program, commercialization program ataupun entrepreneurship. Okay, dalam biotechnology we have entrepreneurship juga. Jadi kita nak ajar student ni supaya kamu ni future proof, boleh join business, boleh buat business sendiri dan provide job. Okay, if industry has enough space ataupun job for biotechnology graduates, saya kan graduate daripada microbiology kan. Saya ada kawan yang bekerja daripada universiti ada, jadi lecturer, jadi researcher ada, dekat KKM ada, dekat Johnson & Johnson ada, okay, dekat MPOB ada, dekat JPSPN ada. Yang paling unik sekali, dia buka gerai burger dia sendiri. Okay. Yang ni pun, we are not saying that he is not successful. He is actually successful sebab dia gunakan knowledge biotech dia ataupun microbiology dia untuk produce dia punya patty dia sendiri. Okay. So, tapi sekarang ni dia terpaksa tutup kedai dia lah. Okay. So, nama dia pun saya tetap takkan lupa lah. But sometimes when I went to his state, I will try to visit him. And then dia akan belanja lah. But he is also quite successful. So maknanya kadang-kadang kita jangan limitkan kita punya bidang kerja. Kadang-kadang orang cakap kan, microbiology kerja apa? Kita akan jadi science officer lah dekat hospital kan. No, not like that. Jangan limitkan kat situ saja. Okay, sebab microbe is everywhere. Okay, so you can be everywhere as well together with the microbes. So how many job opportunity can be provided by industry? Yang ni kita pun work based on the numbers ataupun reports yang dikeluarkan. Jadi basically kalau kita come out with the students intake dan sebagainya, this is ataupun limit. Kadang-kadang I'm not sure if you know this, but the number of the students sometimes is being limited because we have this number. We cannot exceed the number because of the report, one thing, okay, but then we also cannot provide enough space for the lab, so we cannot have excess student because we want to make sure that the student have enough exposure to the hands-on, okay, and academic lecture and so on. Jadi finally, okay, with this everything is in place, curriculum, university role, and also networking with the industry, okay, we want to have the student to have a very good confidence level, very good achievement, okay, and then also be competitive, okay, to the industry as compared to from other university. So student must also be able to have very good skills, okay, good English for communication before they can enter the industry. Tapi susah jugalah kita nak asah skill-skill ni masa COVID ni, kelas online pun kan. Kalau dalam kelas tu kita boleh terus tanya student kan, suruh dia jawab tiba-tiba, tengok dia confident ke tak kan. Okay. Tapi those are the challenges. Saya rasa during this time I think there would be new business, okay, new type of business yang you can work on. Okay. So as for the conclusion, okay, ni second last slide lah. To improve the R&D in research institution and university, okay. Actually this one, okay, in the, especially in UPM lah, kita memang dah improve R&D in our university. Okay. Most of the R&D before they can acquire funding, they have been selected, they have been examined, they have been a lot of examiner ataupun reviewers looking into this project before they can be approved for funding ataupun approved for the project to be given funding to be run lah. Okay. And then we want to make sure that the commercialization process is here. That is why during the application of funding, there is a section to make sure that the project itself have commercial value in the future. If the project itself do not have value to be commercialized, maknanya tak ada commercial value lah. Okay. Most of the time they are not going to be accepted. Okay. That is one of the important criteria for R&D in university. Okay. And then to improve the system to enhance the patent and IP developments. Okay. Yang ni UPM is also quite ahead, okay, in terms of this as compared to other university in Malaysia. Actually we are number one, and like Prof Ali mentioned last week, for few consecutive years. Okay, we have a good IP management office in UPM. Okay, we have won for the IP management for several times already. Okay, to make sure that the filing patents or IP and then the development of this IP is good. Increase the involvement of many agencies in research and product development. Okay, this is another thing. In biotech and also in Faculty of Engineering, I know quite well. Okay, there are a lot of involvement from industry for the development of research and products. Okay, I think I also heard in Faculty of Science and Faculty of Tech. But I'm not saying the other faculty is not having this a good involvement with industry. I'm just saying that because my work is not related to other faculty, so that is why I cannot say anything lah. Macam tak adil lah pula cakap benda yang kita tak tahu kan. But then what I'm saying that in UPM we have very good involvement with industry for product development. Increase the readiness and acceptability of the industry in the RDCE system. Jadi our IP should be able to be ataupun should be more competitive so that it can be accepted by the industry. Sometimes the project itself is not being taken by industry because the IP is not ready to be commercialized. Okay, so it has to undergo a further development before it can be commercialized, ataupun adalah benda-benda yang belum betul-betul settle menyebabkan dia belum betul-betul boleh dikomersialkan. So to overcome this, we have to make sure that the product themselves is ready so that the industry can come and pick it and accept this before they can be commercialized. Prof Ali pernah mention a basket of technology. So UPM is trying to provide this we call it as basket of technology, so that if the industry have issues, they can come to UPM for solutions. And then UPM can show the catalog ataupun this basket of technology, the catalog, and then okay, the industry can select for they want to have this technology, okay, they want to license this technology and so on, and then they can come up with and they can commercialize it. Okay, so those are the things that we want to achieve. And finally, we want to reduce bureaucracy in all stages. Bureaucracy ni pun kadang-kadang dia melambatkan proses lah. So with the reduction of bureaucracy, the commercialization process can be faster. So that's all for the this week's topic, research, intellectual properties, commercialization, industrial relation. I would like to end with this slide. What are the TRL? This TRL, we have 9 TRL, starting from idea, TRL 0, basic idea, technology formulation, applied research. So most of the time, university will cover until TRL 5 or 6 sampai development of prototype. Okay, and then after that, TRL 7 and above, they are going to be involving a lot of money. So university still do this kind of research, but there is not many research at this TRL lah. Most of the TRL that is in research in UPM is between 1, 0 to 6. Okay. So pre-commercialization started at TRL 7. Jadi bila TRL 7 ni most of the time funding yang diperlukan lebih besar dan dia lebih lama lah in terms of demonstration and so on. So that's the end of lecture for this week. Ada soalan tak? Prof ada nak tambah apa-apa, Prof?
Maybe one small point kot, insyaAllah.
Ya.
Tunjuk balik yang the level tu, daripada RDCE. RDCE.
Oh, okay. Ni kan?
Yes, that's right. Okay, ni kan is a very important slide for us to see the phase ataupun the development of the research until commercialization. So here is also incorporated the innovation. Innovation must always remember, innovation is about creating value. Not just creating technology, tapi creating value. So you can see the RDCE ni, tadi pun ada next slide tu, in terms of research, there's a lot of research done. Development tak semua ni, this one. Development dah kurang, commercialization lagi lah kurang, and also entrepreneurship is even less, much less. So even though kita kata when we do research, we should aim for the research to be applicable kan. But we do not know if we do not know the needs of the industry, then we will be doing research without much relevance lah. But even if we do know the needs of the industry, there are two main consideration. Satu is technical feasibility, maksudnya is the technology feasible or not? Can you produce whatever you want to produce kan? Itu dari segi technical lah, maksudnya teknologi tu develop ataupun tidak. Is it good technology or not? So kalau the Japanese, they always say, do you have technology? Do you have the technology? What technology do you have? Okay. But then there's first part. The second part is financial feasibility. So is it financially feasible? Can you produce it at a reasonable price? Kan? There's another issue lah. So for example, we see the need, I can give you one specific example. We see the need for biodegradable plastics, for example. So this was my PhD topic basically. So the need, we knew there was a need way back in the 1980s, 1990s dulu. Again, so we developed the technology. Until now, the technology is quite developed, but then we do not manage to overcome the financial feasibility because it is much more expensive to produce biodegradable plastic compared to normal fossil based plastic lah. Okay, so sampai sekarang pun kita tak boleh nak commercialize dengan secara besar-besaran. There are some companies that are producing it in small amounts for very niche markets, but not in a big way like the plastics that we see every day around us kan. So we must be careful. So there's actually a lot of barriers for us to push our technology into the market. Tambah pula, for example, for bioplastics ni, we also face the challenge from the normal plastic producers. They are challenging it. They kata they don't believe that these are they don't believe that we are producing something that is biodegradable. Although we showed them all the results, the data and so on, because they tak nak ada competition with their established products. So many things, but anyway, one good way of overcoming this ataupun one good strategy is to talk to the industry before we do the research. Talk to the industry. That's why macam biogas we can easily commercialize because we know that is we know that is what the industry wants. Macam now we also produce the biochar. Biochar pun is what the industry want juga. Cuma at the moment ni belum commercialize lagi. We are working with some companies now to commercialize it, but we know that the future is there because there is a need. There is a need. If you can manage to satisfy the need of the industry, better still, as I always mention this, if you can solve the pain of the industry. What is the current pain of the industry? So contohnya kalau palm oil industry, the current pain is that they are polluting the river kan. So by making the palm oil extraction process tu, they use a lot of water from the river. Lepas tu, after that, when they have finished using the water, because water is not a product, kan? They need to put the water back into the river, but it's usually more polluting lah, although they tried to do some wastewater treatment, kan. So what we did was that kita propose for zero emission, sebab kita ada develop technology that can treat the wastewater tu until it is river water quality, sampai sebersih air sungai. Bila dia sebersih air sungai, you tak payah buang ke sungai, kan? You recycle the water back into the mill. So you go for zero emission lah, actual zero emission. So we have proven the technology with activated carbon and also with further aeration using the energy from the biogas. Itu kita consolidate lah, kita and kita integrate various technologies together. So I don't know whether we have a chance to show this to Mamin later on in this class, how we integrated the technologies inside the palm oil mill to go for zero emission. So we believe that is the future of the industry. Cuma at the moment ni we are still pushing the technology to be adopted. Partly the biogas dah been commercialized, the compost dah been commercialized. Now we are going for the biochar, insyaAllah. Okay, to my contribution, teman-teman, silakan.
Itulah dah habis dah. So we welcome question from students lah.
Ada, semua mengantuk ke? Ada more than 50 people here.
Maybe I can also share a little bit lah on other projects that we have worked with. We have worked together with CJ Bio. Okay, yang tu kita pernah cerita lah sebelum ni kan, dekat Kemaman. We are working on their waste. The pain is they have hazardous waste, and then this hazardous waste need to be sent to special ataupun secured landfill. Kita ada 3 landfill. Student microbe tak belajar ni kot, tak apa, 3 landfill. Kita ada inert landfill, sanitary landfill dengan secured landfill. So yang kita punya sampah harian tu kita hantar ke sanitary landfill. So sisa-sisa yang hazardous ni, all of them will be ended up at secured landfill. So this company, CJ Bio, is from Korea. So they have hazardous waste, and then they need to pay an expensive fee so that their waste can be sent to secured landfill. So we help them to make sure that their product can be changed into a non-hazardous product. Okay, and then at the same time, it has commercial value. We have 2 products after that. The first one is carbon for fuel, and then the second one is fertilizer. Okay, so with these 2 products, instead of paying to discard this hazardous waste, they now have 2 products that can generate additional value to their company. So that is a very successful story. I think we are very happy with that project, and also the company are also very happy with that project. And then the second one we have with Novozymes. It is an enzyme company. So for this Novozymes company, we are working with them to help another company in Thailand, okay, CP, Sharon Port Fund, produce CPP to accelerate the composting process of their waste. So they have biomass waste, and then their composting process took about 7 to 8 months. So we help them to reduce the composting process down to 1.5 months. Okay, the maximum is 2 months. So with that, with the additional of enzyme lah. Okay, and then we have successfully performed the study, and then we have been invited to help them in their actual study in Thailand. So I went there, okay, and then we have discussed, and then the final verdict I did not know, because this is a research contract, so they didn't share the deal between Novozymes and this company. Okay, but from what I found is they are happy with the progress, and then they are also happy with the finding. I think Novozymes should be able to sell the enzyme that we have incorporated into the technology to this company in Thailand. So those are the things that we can actually help. Then the initial study for these 2 projects, biochar and also composting, is being developed in UPM. So the technology Oh, sorry. The biochar is being developed in Japan first, and then we adapt the technology in UPM. As for the composting, okay, we developed that one, that study in UPM. And then with that, imagine that as a technology that is being provided in the catalog, okay, as a technology ataupun a basket of technology, so the company can come and then they can select and then try to go commercialize ataupun license the technology ataupun do a research contract study and then develop a new product based on their own biomass. So those are the things that we can do, okay, in terms of university contribution. Okay, I think that's some of from my sharing lah. So the student ada soalan tak? Have you take the waste management class? I
No,
think
Doctor.
No, Doctor.
elective lah untuk microbiology. So if you take that class, we are going to be able to share more on this matter. So profile dia ada banyak lagi, dia ada IWK, dia ada Felda, dia ada macam-macam lagi. Even yang sekarang tak apalah, itu next time kita cerita kan.
Thank you.
Okay, kalau tak ada soalan, I think that's all for today. InsyaAllah we will...
Doctor,
Yeah.
I have question in the chat box.
Oh sorry, tak perasan. Dr. like to ask, contoh macam susu khas untuk pesakit diabetes itu one of biotechnology product juga. Produk susu sekejap nak tutup ni. Susu khas untuk pesakit diabetes ni susu apa ya?
Macam glucerna ke ataupun banyak
Saya pernah beli susu
banyak
khas.
yang diorang
Ya.
yang saya tengok dia incorporatekan dengan penggunaan keladi, keledek macam tu dalam susu.
Proven clinically ke tak?
Saya tak sure Doctor.
Produk ke?
Sebab kadang-kadang
But the susu is already dekat dalam pasaran lah.
Yelah, maksudnya maksud saya macam ni. Dia produk ni kalau dia nak dimarketkan sebagai ubat, dia kena ada ujian klinikal kan. Macam Johnson & Johnson punya produk lah, kamu boleh tengok kan, clinically tested yang dia cakap. Masa arwah saya, ayah saya dulu dia sakit buah pinggang kan, doktor recommend susu untuk orang sakit buah pinggang ni. But then I already check jugalah, since doktor punya recommend, saya pun check dan produk susu tu memang teruji secara klinikal for people who have problem with their kidneys lah. Okay, jadi susu khas ni bila Amira cakap, saya tak sure susu yang mana kan. Kalau saya tu cakap okay, dia okay, tak adil lah pula kan. So maybe boleh bagi tahu brand dia, then we can check. Okay, either it is a real biotechnology product ataupun dia susu biasa je. Okay, sebab kadang-kadang ada je orang jual susu yang kata boleh heal diabetes dan sebagainya, tapi sebenarnya dia susu biasa. So we have to see ataupun check by ourselves either this product is an actual biotech product ataupun tidak. Selagi saya tak tahu dia punya actual brand, saya tak berani nak cakap lah. Okay?
Apa tu yang saya pernah jumpa kan doktor kan, dia dari Good Morning Biotechnology Company macam tu. Nama company tu biotechnology tapi I don't know the product punya kandungan macam mana.
Ya, tidak saya check Dibetasol Nama dia dibetasol tu?
Tak ingat lah doktor. Rasa macam bukan.
Bukan. Saya tak berani cakap lah in case, unless saya tahu apa brand sebenar dia. Because
Minggu depan kan?
Ya Prof?
Jawab minggu depan.
Yelah, nak jawab pun dia kena bagi tahu dulu lah brand apa.
Okay, PM to period.
Saya cuma curious je.
Dia mungkin ada produk-produk biotech ni kan, tapi kita tak nak dah pukul rata semua produk susu adalah produk biotech. Tak aci kan. So kita kena tahu dulu apa what is the brand, what is the product name. Okay, then we can check the background lah kan, either it has been clinically tested ataupun tak, ataupun dia based on testimoni saja kan. Kita kena kata apa, kena tabayun lah kan, kena check balik maklumat-maklumat dia. Okay, any other question? Kalau tak ada, I think that's all. Okay, thank you very much for today's class. InsyaAllah we will see each other.